Aryna Sabalenka expected to hear about her own campaign in Stuttgart when she picked up the phone in her hotel room. Instead, the world number one heard something and sat up in her chair. It wasn't about a win or a ranking, but rather how Germany welcomed a 20-year-old Filipina who had never won a Grand Slam. More than merely a tennis tournament, the Porsche Arena in Stuttgart was hosting a festival of Filipino pride. 55,000 people went to the city, waving flags and yelling Laban, Alex, turning a quiet German tournament into a spectacle Sabalenka had never seen before. The player, who had never placed in the top 20 and was ranked 45th in the world, was drawing audiences that the top player could only dream of. Sabalenka was shocked by what she saw when Coco Gauff had destroyed him in Dubai a few weeks earlier. The Yale Effect's entrance in Stuttgart stunned the queen of tennis. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix has been a regular tournament on the WTA program for nearly 50 years. Several of the greatest tennis players in history have competed there. Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, Martina Navratilova, and Steffi Graf. However, the tournament organizers had no idea what would happen to their city when Alex Eala's name showed up on the entrance list. An estimated 55,000 Filipino supporters flocked to Stuttgart from Munich, Berlin, and other locations in Germany, where more than 100,000 Filipinos live and work, just days before the competition was scheduled to begin. They went from Switzerland, Italy, and the UK, among other places where a direct flight might take them. There were unprecedented scenes outside the Porsche Arena. Fans camped out for the night with their Philippine flags tied to lampposts in an attempt to keep the city awake. As soon as the gates opened, the mob surged forward. Just over 5,000 people can fit in the arena. There were more than 11 times as many people outside. The Eala effect has followed the 20-year-old Filipina from Melbourne to Dubai to Miami to Linz. Unmatched fan loyalty, packed stadiums, and overburdened ticket systems are all phenomena. But in Stuttgart, it escalated to an unanticipated degree. Earlier this season, an experienced official observed that when players are from countries like the Philippines, the arena feels like a Davis Cup location. For their country, not simply for one player. In Stuttgart, it was definitely the case. The Filipino supporters from all throughout Europe were not only rooting for Eala, but also for the Philippines. They were flying flags and singing songs in remembrance of their history. And the tennis world was watching. Even before she took the court, Eala's autograph was listed as the most sought after at the Porsche Village Fan Engagement Zone. She was given an Olympic medal to sign by some of the fans who stood in line for hours. A beautiful and meaningful gesture. The numbers from the Stuttgart Open are amazing. According to industry reports, Eala's first-round encounter against even though the tournament sold out in record time, the statistics that truly shocked Sabalenka were those that contrasted Eala's drawing power with her own. Leylah Fernandez's average ticket price was 400% more than the tournament norm, and the official ticket website crashed multiple times in the hours following Eala's main draw announcement. More than 6 times as many people watched Eala's pre-tournament news conference at the Australian Open in January as Carlos Alcaraz did, and over 20 times as many watched Sabalenka's first-round match on the court. 6 are dispersed throughout Melbourne Park, necessitating the use of security to turn away hundreds of spectators. The 48% year-over-year increase in ticket sales in Dubai was directly caused by Eala's attendance. Every time she played, the stadium was packed out, and the tournament director tennis tickets were in high demand, and Sila Talik admitted that she attracted a new audience. But they were all sold out. We have never seen anything like it. Eala's shirts sold more at the Miami Open than all the other players combined, accounting for 57% of the total sales. The ticket system failed on the day that sales started. The enormous demand from Filipino fans has caused former pros to take notice. Sam Quarry's question on the Nothing Major podcast would have seemed unthinkable a year ago. Is she the most gorgeous player in women's tennis right now? Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco? Steve Johnson responded directly. Yes, Guy, it's crazy. The sheer number of individuals she is currently drawing from around the globe is astounding. John Eisner focused on the commercial side, pointing out that fans now have a star in the women's division of the sport and characterizing the Philippines as a significant market that many tennis players had missed. When Aryna Sabalenka found out about the Stuttgart welcome, her reaction was captured on camera and quickly went viral. With 2 years at the top of the rankings and 4 Grand Slams under his belt, the world number one is used to being the center of attention. Everywhere she goes, cameras follow her. Fans demand autographs. Her presence is creating a stir around the stadium. But in Stuttgart, the buzz wasn't for her. Philippine flags were displayed on the stands. The arena echoed with Laban Alex's question chants. Thousands of Filipino fans flocked to the Porsche Arena, raising their voices in delight. They weren't there for Sabalenka, but rather for Alex Eala, a 20-year-old Filipina ranked 45th in the world who has never won a Grand Slam. When asked about the phenomenon, Sabalenka's remark was captured on camera. The world number one, who had seen it all during her career, looked genuinely shocked. "I've never seen anything like this," she allegedly said to one of her teammates. "She has incredible support. I have never experienced anything like it." One image captures the strange reality of the Eala effect as Sabalenka watches Eala practice, the world champion seeing the audience favorite. In a matter of hours, Sabalenka's reply went viral on social media, and admirers scrutinized every image for clues about what she was thinking. Some expressed sympathy for the world number one and understood the pressure she must be facing. Others saw it as a reminder that even supporters can be surprised by the power of a movement. Although it wasn't in a competitive match, Eala has already met Sabalenka. During their frequent practice sessions at the Rafa Nadal Academy, Sabalenka has personally witnessed the brilliance that has made the Filipina a rising star. But seeing the Eala effect firsthand, the packed stadiums, the boisterous applause, and the transformation of a game into a celebration of Filipino pride, was very different. To understand why Germany welcomed Alex Eala like never before, you must understand the phenomenon known as the Eala effect. According to Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Patrick Gregorio, Ayala's popularity enabled the country's first WTA event, the Philippine Women's Open. According to former Resto PH President Eric Ting, there will always be hungry people and an opportunity to serve Filipino cuisine wherever sport draws sizable crowds. But the Eala effect is not only about money, it's also about representation. Eala left the Philippines when she was 12 years old to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. She sacrificed her youth, comfort, and familial ties in order to follow her passion. She went from number 140 to number 29 in a single year. She defeated 3 Grand Slam winners in one tournament. Being the first Filipina to place in the top 50, top 40, and top 30, she created history. Along the way, she never forgot where she came from. She wore the sampaguita in her hair at Wimbledon. She spoke Tagalog during her post-match interviews. Among other places, she thanked her followers in the Philippines, Dubai, Los Angeles, and London. In Stuttgart, that bond was clear. The crowd not only cheered Eala on, but they also joined her in celebrating. By waving flags and chanting songs, they turned the Porsche Arena into a home away from home. It's important to be vocal and proud, especially when it comes to cultures. Few nationalities are as loud and proud as us Filipinos, Eala said on the WTA website during the competition. Since there are so many of us, I think it is a privilege that someone is representing the Philippines abroad. The Eala effect, which has now reached the highest levels of the sport, astounds tennis star Aryna Sabalenka. Despite the tremendous support, Ayala's Stuttgart Open campaign ended sooner than she had planned. Leylah Fernandez, the world number 25, a fellow left-handed Filipina, and a former U.S. Her opponent in the first round was an Open finalist. The game was educational. Fernandez's higher rating and expertise proved to be too much on that specific day. The final score was 6-1, 6-4. Ayala's achievements persisted even after she was eliminated in the opening round. She had drawn 55,000 visitors to Stuttgart. She had turned a German city into a celebration of Filipino pride. She had shown the world that there are other ways to assess her significance to the sport outside ranking points. After the game, Eala reflected on her stay in Stuttgart. "I am concentrated when I need to be. I'm very professional," she said. "Even though this is my first year on tour, I think I can manage these things quite well. I understand that if I don't put in the effort, nothing else will happen because everything happens when you put in the effort." Eala's defeat to Fernandez was her third consecutive first-round elimination following early departures in Miami and Linz. But her admirers' loyalty never wavered. Even after the game, they remained. They told her that they will always be there for her while waving their flags and yelling her name. Conversely, Sabalenka observed the game from the players' box. Even though the match was almost over, she saw Isla's battle, her perseverance, and her refusal to give up. And she saw the crowd, the same bunch who had loved Eala unconditionally and stood by her side to the very end. Before Roland Garros, Rome, and Eala Madrid, the clay season continues. Her record against Czech players is 0-13, and the Czech curse remains unbroken, but she possesses something that no ranking can match: the adoration of a country that will follow her anywhere. It's clear that Alex Eala is more than simply a tennis player after what she experienced in Stuttgart. Aryna Sabalenka, the tennis queen, is astounded by her movement. Aryna Sabalenka stared in disbelief as Germany welcomed Alex Eala as never before. An estimated 55,000 Filipino fans traveled to Stuttgart for the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, turning the city into a festival of Filipino pride. The Porsche Arena, which can hold slightly more than 5,000 spectators, was surrounded for several blocks by a sea of Philippine flags. It was a greeting never seen before. The streets echoed with Laban Alex's cheers as Eala's autograph was signed at the Porsche Village fan event. The four-time Grand Slam champion and world number 1 Sabalenka was astounded, saying, "I've never seen anything like this. She has amazing support. It's unlike anything I've ever encountered." The Eala effect, a phenomenon marked by packed stadiums, crammed ticket booths, and unmatched fan loyalty, has reached unprecedented heights. Dubai's ticket sales rose by 48% while she was in the draw. There were hints everywhere throughout the Melbourne Stadium hours before her match. The welcome at Stuttgart is unparalleled in the tennis world. In the Stuttgart tournament's first round, Eala was defeated by Leylah Fernandez. But her achievements were not diminished by the loss. She had shown the globe that her value cannot be determined solely by ranking points. Roland Garros, Madrid, Rome, and the full clay season are in front of her. Despite the Czech curse, there is no rating that can compare to the adoration of a nation that will follow her wherever she goes. And Aryna Sabalenka, the tennis queen, is stunned. What are your thoughts on Alex Eala's incredible reception in Germany? Have you ever seen something that like the Eala effect?